And while some of us may say, well, I was in Iraq or when I was in Afghanistan, here's a man who was really in Iraq, an Iraq vet who is still serving our country valiantly in the Air Force Reserve. Mr. Collins is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman, I do appreciate that. And Mr. Collins might want to stay here for just a moment because as much as my good friend we disagree on, so we're getting ready to agree wholeheartedly right here because this is, you know, look, y'all have pointed out some things. I came for some other questions, and I'm going to get to those in a minute. But let me just say, if anybody from USAID is here, DOD is here, or you're watching by camera, the only way is if these who are supposed to oversight what is being spent tell me that they're not getting the metrics to spend money, they're not getting the metrics on how to even evaluate these programs, then maybe it's time to cut the money off. Maybe it's just time to say, let's stop. If you can't handle this, because this is the problem that I've seen so far, and I am for being in the military, we've got to rebuild, we've got to help the country we're in. I've got no problem with that. But I have a huge problem with no accountability. The people of the 9th District of Georgia do not get it. We're not spending monopoly money here. We're not spending money that just pops out of the air. Somebody says it's free health care, free this. It's not that. It comes out of my back pocket and your back pocket. It's tax dollars. We've got a VA system that has problems and issues. We've got other issues in this country, and we've got this problem where we're just blowing money and we don't even get the metrics where Mr. Johnson and Mr. Sobel can't even do their job? Are you kidding me? We even have this committee. I mean, Madam Chair, this is amazing to me. I feel for you that you're trying to do a job with no metrics. You're trying to do a job in which they're giving money and saying, go spend it, be happy, see if it works or not. But we're not going to provide you the metrics. And if DOD gets upset at your question, Mr. Sobel, so what? Send them to me. I'll ask the same questions. They can get mad at me. This is ridiculous. You know, I've submitted language in the State and Foreign Ops Appropriations Bill forcing USAID and the State Department to take a closer look at its funds it is allocating to various reconstruction projects over Afghanistan. Frankly, as we just said, over $100 billion. Between DOD, USAID, the others, what promise do we have if we continue this? And I agree with my friend, Mr. Kinzinger. There's some things that we need to do to hopefully keep this country stable and not have to send our sons and daughters back there in a matter of a few years or send others there. But how can we take it seriously if USAID and others can't even provide measures because they don't want to? How can we have any effect? Either one of you would like to answer that.
It is definitely difficult, and that's part of the way we do our work. We need to measure the U.S. progress against the U.S. identified strategic goals and objectives, and in order to do that, we absolutely need metrics. Those metrics need to be collected routinely and not, every so many years, but they should be collecting those, depending on the type of program it is, throughout the lifetime of the program and making those available to us. They should be approving those metrics that they're asking their implementing partners to carry out, in some of the projects. And, quite frankly, we did find several deficiencies in that area. I think later on it probably came up, how do you gather and collect information in a war zone or in an environment like this? Well, they've done it in other locations. They've done it in the tribal area in Pakistan, where in essence they've collected data using other alternative means to get that data and to have those metrics and to report on progress. So I don't think it's something that can't be done in Afghanistan. The agencies just need to commit to doing it.
Congressman, can I add something to my colleague? And it's something that Congressman Connolly alluded to, and that is lessons learned from Iraq, lessons learned from Vietnam. I cited a report done by AID in 1988, and it's a lessons learned report on AID's operations in Afghanistan from 1950 to 1979. Well, I couldn't find anybody in our embassy or anybody at AID who had ever read it. This is 12 years. If I was being assigned to AID, I think I'd want to read my lessons learned report from 1950 to 1979. I spoke to a very prominent general, a wise general, who says, I'm in the Army. We do lessons learned report like going to the bathroom, pulling paper. We write them like crazy. Problem is they're not applied. And I think one of the things you can do and Congress can do is mandate that each of the services do these lessons learned reports, but more importantly, that aid and state do them. And in the future, as we all know, this will be an all-government approach to a problem. And that means we need to mandate that aid, state, and DOD, and any other agencies involved, probably the intel community, do combined lessons learned reports on contingencies. Remember, under Goldwater-Nichols, you created purple in the military. You have not created purple in contingencies. You're not requiring state and aid to do the same in-depth analyses and lessons learned like all of the various, I know, sir, you served in the military, so you understand the lessons learned reports. The TRADOC produces doctrine. You're not seeing combined doctrine coming out on the next contingency. So I'd throw that out. If you want to make certain we succeed, maybe not for Afghanistan, but at least we learn from our mistakes before we do it again, that's something you may want to consider, sir.
Madam Chair, if you'll just indulge me for just one moment. I think the thing, and I understand what you're saying here, what bothers me is just simply looking at this as a simple business plan. You don't get money for just, I have an idea, let's throw money at it. Is there a way that maybe we could metric that, say, the metrics have to be applied first before the money's ever transferred? Because once the money's gone, it doesn't matter. They don't care. Once the money's gone, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, I think the problem we have here, and I'll go back to Mr. Connolly's statement, and whether it's good or bad, I think that I come from a background where neither or. I'm a male. So if you tell me nothing has happened and everything has happened, I'll discount it immediately and I'll show you where it's wrong. So something in the middle has done well and a lot of things have done wrong. But when we look at this repeatedly, the people of American 9th District, they want the truth. They want the honesty of what's going on. And they'll accept the truth even if it's hard, but they will not accept incompetence. And this is simply incompetence that you've unveiled. Now, it may be veiled in community service. USAID may call it whatever they want to call it. DOD may call it whatever they want to call it. Anybody else may call it what they are. It's incompetence. Plain and simple, fireable incompetence. And I don't understand how we continue to do this, and it frankly disturbs me. I don't think we've learned a lesson. You just stated it. We've not learned anything. We have to do hot washes. When I transferred out of Iraq, I had to do lessons learned. And I had to actually tell the person coming in who took my job, here's the lesson learned. And it didn't just involve where's the latrine and where's the DFAC. It had to do with what we found on the ground and how you worked it out. I applaud your work. But in some ways, I feel for you. You're in a no-win situation. And this country ought to be ashamed of what we're doing in this area because we can do better. We can do better. If we truly want to fix it, we truly want to work it, we can do better. The agencies that I'm talking to today, my office is 513 Cannon. Come and explain your incompetence to me. Madam Chair, I yield.